next up is Ryan.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Streck, and I'm the Director of Utility Service Delivery. I'll be presenting some MPW facts and figures, as well as some project highlights from this year. The electric utility serves 11,521 customers. If you total up our transmission and distribution lines, you end up with 293 miles of plant, but we'll be increasing that to 300 with our new 161,000 volt transmission line. This new 161 line will add 6.25 miles to our plant, but brings much more than that small amount would have you think. The added transmission line ensures reliability and voltage support for our area. MPW is partnering with Central Iowa Power Cooperative, or CIPCO, for the construction of the new line, which with their contribution will reach all the way to Davenport. Construction is scheduled to start in the fall of 2021, with an anticipated completion in the summer of 2022. COVID played a part in delays on this project, but at this time we have 100% voluntary easements and are now waiting on the IUB approval for the franchise, which will allow us to construct, operate, and maintain the line. The electric system has 8,153 poles supporting it, and this number is always changing. While adding the new transmission line with 59 new poles, we also removed several poles along the riverfront. We have buried the distribution and transmission lines. 11 poles were removed, including a 70-foot, 14,000-pound steel structure, which took the help of the power plant crane to dismantle. A big thanks to the plant staff for their help. Another 7 poles will be removed behind HNI once we place additional conduits around the flood wall on the east side of Mulberry Avenue. This has really enhanced the river view and aesthetics of the area. Another highlight at the riverfront this year was MPW working with Musco on a new lighting project sponsored by the Keep Muscatine Beautiful group. MPW contributed the conduits and labor to install the new poles and foundations at the riverfront. Our crew dug up 22 railroad ties while installing those conduits. You never know what you'll run into when you're digging in the ground. These lights were installed in time to be featured at the final Almost Friday Fest in September. The color-changing lights not only add to the event, but also provide lighting for people to safely exit the venue. MPW has 12 transmission and distribution substations. Earlier this year, we had a large project at one of our busiest substations. MPW's total electrical load is nearly 900 million kilowatt hours annually. Oregon substation carries 25% of that load, and many of its 59,000 volt breakers and switches were from the late 60s and early 70s. The project to update this substation was planned before the COVID shutdown of most businesses this spring. Given the importance of this project to reliability of the substation, it was decided to move ahead with the project as scheduled in March. The crews worked safely using distancing and protective equipment. For that work, the entire substation had to be taken out of service in phases for 3 weeks, which requires a lot of switching. During the switching, a customer's load is moved from one substation to another, often over a mile away. And if it goes as planned, the lights won't even blink. This project did go as planned, and there were no incidents or service interruptions. This $250,000 project will provide years of reliable service. During the derecho on August 10th, wind gusts exceeded 100 miles per hour, caused significant damage and widespread power outages. Over 1 million people were without power across Iowa and Illinois. MPW received numerous reports of down lines and uprooted trees, causing electrical outages. In total, just over 3,600 customers experienced a power outage. Of those customers, just over 1,000 had a momentary loss of power, while the remaining customers experienced extended power outages. We were able, though, to restore all customers in just over 14 hours with our local crews. This is our outage monitoring map. It shows us customer reported outages, and when you lose power, the ONT at your home or business, like Erica mentioned, also shows up as a dot on our map. This gives us a visual of the outage, and we can quickly determine the scope we're dealing with. It takes a while to process phone calls, but those ONT outages show up almost instantaneously. This slide shows what we were seeing during the derecho. We have a customer-facing map, and in the past, it used very large polygons to show outage areas. This new map, which can be found on our website, it allows you to quickly see what we're seeing. And this may save you from taking the time to report an outage that we already know about. This saves us time as well and allows us to get to those calls faster where folks have additional information they want to report concerning causes of the outages or emergencies that may be out there. By cutting through unnecessary calls, we continue to streamline the outage process. Now on this map, as we continue to advance the slide, you can dial into those icons and it will continue to take you lower and lower and eventually to the street level so you can see if your home is affected, which means we know about it. To lead by example, the utility added its first electric vehicle, a Chevy Bolt dubbed the EV1 or EV. We also installed a level 2 public charging station at our offices here at 3205 Cedar Street. EV is used daily by the meter reading department. MPW's EV strategy will support and ready the community as electric vehicles become more commonplace. And we're doing this with the guidance of our electric vehicle stakeholder group. With this group, we get the customer perspective on EVs and can make better decisions on charger locations and programs that will help incent EV adoption. Next, MPW will be installing 2 additional public charging stations in the downtown area. Here's a few highlights from our rebate program. The rebate that jumps out to me the most is the early adopter $1,500 rebate on the first new 5 EVs in Muscatine. For more information, customers can visit our website or contact Paul Burback, our Energy Services Advisor. Now we're going to move on to the water utility. This was established in 1900 and is made up of 157 miles of water main. Of that 157 miles of main, 4,290 feet was replaced this year. This is roughly 0.6% of our plant. So we have plans in our 10-year budget to increase our investment and keep those mains new. Many of these main replacements are done in coordination with city projects. The last thing we want is a 100-year-old main that could break running under a brand new section of street like the roundabout shown here. When an area like this is being constructed, it's the perfect time for us to get in there and update our facilities. As the West Hills sewer separation work continues, we proactively evaluate our mains and replace valves and hydrants to ensure the facilities are in good working condition. This project is currently planned with the city to continue for 8 more years. 2021 work is planned to include Clymer Street, and that will include a larger water main and additional hydrants for increased fire protection for that area. Speaking of hydrants, there are over 1,500 hydrants in Muscatine. Each year we need to flush all of our mains twice. This stirs up sediment and causes discolored water. Along with our usual notifications on hydrant flushing, for a better customer experience, we will be launching a new hydrant flushing map on our website this spring. This will show what has been flushed, where we're currently working that day, and what is left to be flushed. There will also be an explanation of how to interpret the map and how it affects your home and water. MPW hosted a dedication ceremony of the new refurbished water tower in August. The local community and friends of Muscatine worldwide helped by voting in the It's in the Water Hometown Pride Contest sponsored by the Iowa Finance Authority and announced by Governor Reynolds at the 2019 Iowa State Fair. Artist Laura Palmer, originally from Muscatine, created images capturing Muscatine's iconic features in her unique style. Palmer's new design replaces the original design created by her father in 1999. Adding to the uniqueness of our water tower, Musco will be installing updated and additional lighting fixtures at the base of the tower to showcase this one-of-a-kind tower in an array of color. And that brings us to 2021 projects. We've got a lot planned for next year. We have several more outage management improvements in the works, community outreach to see if we can get involved with more projects, construction of that new 161 transmission line, West Hill Reservoir pumping station upgrades, and more substation improvements.